Welcome to Week 6 on Workforce Diversity and Discrimination. Organizations have certainly come a long way when it comes to dealing with these issues, but we definitely have a long way to go. The United Nations is currently struggling with a series of sexual harassment complaints as it strives to protect human rights globally. The UN's global staff includes around 60,000 people stationed around the world. These employees come from many different cultures and backgrounds. The United Nations handles sexual harassment problems differently from other large organizations. Many UN managers have diplomatic immunity that protects them from criminal prosecution and from civil lawsuits as well. Therefore, the internal justice system of the organization is the only one employees can use. This system dates back to 1946 and employs a bewildering array of channels and processes. The net effect has been many harassment cases that have not been settled to anyone's satisfaction. For example, a female Syrian employee filed a complaint against her boss in the Kuwait office alleging he had made sexual advances, grabbing and kissing her. He then refused to renew her contract when she did not respond. 10 days after a report found evidence of her accusations, the supervisor resigned and could not be disciplined. In another case, a French woman who was in Gaza for the UN complained she was harassed by her director. She said he used binoculars to spy on her in her apartment, made sexually explicit comments, and groped her. The director was cleared at first after an investigation by a colleague was conducted. Another investigation was stymied when the director reached mandatory retirement age. His accuser's employment contract ran out and was not renewed, and the case ended. In a final case to illustrate the problem, a translator for the UN in Lebanon accused a UN security officer of rape, but her employment contract expired before her appeal was heard, and that was the end of the case. Employees at the UN in the United States who have been harassed have found that filing a suit in U.S. courts will not work because of the diplomatic immunity. Sexual harassment is an international problem in employment, but the UN, regardless of whether it has a bigger problem than other international organizations, has some unique difficulties in dealing with it. In the United States, using race, gender, disability, age, religion, and certain other characteristics as the basis for choosing among people at work is generally illegal. Doing so can also be quite expensive, as fines and back wages can be awarded as well as sizable lawsuit settlements. Inequality in the treatment of people with different backgrounds has been an issue for many years, but it was the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that started a legislative movement towards leveling the playing field in employment. Initially, focus was on race, gender, and religion, but these characteristics were soon followed by age, pregnancy, and individuals with disabilities. Since then, numerous executive orders, regulations, interpretations by the courts have affected the employer and employee relationship. Perhaps nothing has had the impact of equal employment opportunity on human resources during the same period. Employers have paid and continue to pay large amounts for violating EEO laws. Familiarity with EEO requirements and ways to successfully manage workforce diversity are the goals and focus of this lecture. At the core of equal employment is the concept of discrimination. The word discrimination simply means recognizing differences among people. For example, employers must discriminate or choose among applicants for a job on the basis of job requirements and candidates' qualifications. However, when discrimination is based on race, gender, or some other factors, it's illegal and employers face problems. I'm going to list some bases for protection that have been identified by various federal, state, and local laws. Race, ethnic origin, color, sex and gender, age, especially individuals over 40, individuals with disabilities, whether they're physical or mental, military experience. This includes military status employees and Vietnam-era veterans, religions, marital status, and sexual orientation. These categories are composed of individuals who are members of a protected category under equal employment opportunity laws and regulations. While you may already be familiar with these protected categories, I wanted to move on to a type of discrimination that doesn't get discussed much. It's called lookism. Lookism is discrimination based on someone's appearance. Everyone knows that appearance makes a difference when it comes to getting ahead in business, but how much does it really matter? When you analyze a person's ability to get a job, negotiate salary, and obtain leadership positions, physical attractiveness plays a role. Discrimination based on appearance is with us from the cradle to the grave. Research found that newborn babies who were defined as very cute were cuddled, talked to, and touched by nurses much more often than babies considered less attractive. School-aged children with above-average good looks were regarded by parents as having much higher academic ability than their classmates. Teachers were found to interact more with the most attractive children by asking them more questions and prompting them for answers. Adults in another study perceived that very attractive children were better behaved, trustworthy, and had better personalities. Certainly, the preconceived notions that adults have of children have a dramatic impact on their self-esteem and affect decisions they make throughout their lives. It's well known that when we expect children to be high achievers, they tend to fulfill our expectations. Unfortunately, we hold the highest expectations for those with the best looks. Attractive teenagers are more likely to enter college than their less attractive peers. In 1984, researchers conducted a study to try to predict which West Point graduates would prove the most successful. Based completely on appearance, an independent panel rated graduates on their intelligence, ability to lead, social skills, ambition level, etc. For several years, researchers followed these cadets through their military careers and found that the panel had effectively predicted their future success and military rank. The importance of appearance comes as no surprise to college students. One survey showed that students thought physical attractiveness was just as important to securing a job as education and work experience. You may have seen experiments like the one conducted by ABC News in which two applicants with matching qualifications apply for the same job. One applicant is a beautiful model. The other is of average appearance. The model is enthusiastically hired while the other applicant is not given a courtesy rejection call. In another experiment, attractive applicants who had mediocre qualifications compared to others were still more likely to be treated better during an interview and hired. When interviewers were asked why the more attractive applicant received better treatment, they denied any form of discrimination and explained that the applicant possessed qualities that can't be summarized in a resume. Attributes like trustworthiness, intelligence, exceptional social skills, and honesty. Attractive salespeople earn higher commissions, attractive teachers receive higher evaluations from students, attractive customers are given better service, juries find attractive lawyers more convincing, and attractive business people get promoted faster and receive higher salaries. In a recent study, an independent panel was asked to rate the attractiveness of MBA graduates on a scale of 1 to 5. An increase of 1 unit on this attractiveness scale translated into approximately $2,000 more salary. In addition, the National Association to Aid Fat Americans found that of the top 1,500 top executives, only 9% were overweight, compared with 40% in junior positions. In addition, executives earn $1,000 less for every pound they are overweight. In her book, Backlash, Susan Faludi discusses the demand women feel to look beautiful all day on the job. The cosmetic industry has tried to meet this need with long-lasting lipsticks and 24-hour mascara, and men don't have it any easier. I was very surprised by the results I found in a study done on short men. Women were given remarkable resumes of men who were 5'5" and under. They included a champion athlete, a young millionaire, a pediatrician, and so on. They all had attractive faces. These men were lined up with far less successful but taller men. The women were asked to select a date. The taller men were always chosen. One woman even stated that she would only choose a shorter man if the others were all murderers. Does this type of discrimination affect men outside of the romantic arena? Absolutely. According to management professor Timothy Judge of the University of Florida, Someone who is 6 feet tall earns on average $170,000 more during a 30-year career than someone who is 5'5". Taller men are perceived as more authoritative and capable. The taller candidate has won every presidential election for the past 35 years. Barack Obama is 6 inches taller than John McCain was and easily defeated him in '08. The exception to this was when George Bush, who is 2 inches shorter than Al Gore, won the election. But it's worth noting that Gore won the popular vote. Why do we judge so harshly when beauty is only skin deep? Apparently, we're hardwired to think that way. Babies were found to look more intently and longer at adults with prettier faces, says Dr. Jordan Patzer, Dean of the College of Business Administration at Roosevelt University. Researchers at the Harvard Medical School and Massachusetts Institute of Technology explain that the addiction to good looks is a part of our evolution. When men were shown pictures of beautiful women, the same part of the brain lights up as when a hungry person sees food, or a gambler sees cash, or a drug addict sees a fix. As unfair or unpleasant as it might be, attractive people are unconsciously perceived as having highly valued attributes. Writing this article forced me to ask myself, if Brad Pitt enrolled in one of my classes, hey, it could happen, would I give him more attention than my other students? If no one is immune to lookism, perhaps the next time you're interviewing applicants for a job, or giving performance evaluations to your staff, or helping customers, you may want to ask yourself, am I really treating everyone the same? Before ending this presentation, I wanted to switch gears a little bit and show you a short video from the Wall Street Journal on the importance of respecting others and valuing their ideals.
Some years back, in a 4,000 or 5,000 headcount unit, we gave out anniversary gifts, 35th year of a parent company being structured together, and I wanted to make sure that we got baseball caps of certain quality that were made in the United States. And they had a leather strap on the back rather than the Velcro strap or the sliding cotton strap. And I got a letter from a vegan, which I had never heard of before in my life and had no idea what it was. But she was so offended that I had given her a hat with a leather strap. So I had one made with a Velcro and made sure that that got to that individual, because the point there was she was strong enough to say that she was disappointed by that, and it opened my eyes to there's another group of employees out there who see things very differently from the way that I do. But I checked obviously through the chain of command and found out that she was a very productive employee, and I thought it was worth the investment, the time, the energy, and the effort. I never heard back in a sense that she became a more motivated employee, but I know it had to touch her to think that, gosh, the boss took the time to look into this and do it. So I try to build diversity into all the things that we do, make certain that we've got people of color, people with different backgrounds. It just does make a difference. It makes the team broader. It makes the team more accepting.
Thank you so much for listening to this lecture on workforce diversity and discrimination for week 6. I look forward, as always, to reading your work.